So, this is the dive site Christmas Tree Caves. It's on the French Reef out of Key Largo. This is probably my favorite dive site in Key Largo that I've come across. It has a lot of like sandy bottoms and then big boulders where the reef just comes out of the sand, and there's all kinds of swim throughs and just really interesting stuff to see and look at, and I like it. It's a good time. I'll go again. Yeah, French Reef. Apparently, someone told me it's named after these French guys who years ago used to harvest sponges off of it. I had some slight technical difficulties on this one where my camera was set to an incorrect setting, so I have GoPro's colors and automatic white balancing, and the shutter speed changes a lot, so I get different exposure levels and color changes and things kind of in the middle of it, and it was run at 1080p and not 4K. So here's some elkhorn, or pardon me, this is staghorn coral. This stuff has, I think 90% of it has died off in the Florida area, and there's efforts to try to grow it back, but we'll see what happens. No one really knows why it's dying. People think it might be related to water temperatures becoming elevated, so that's possible. Oh, there's a shark. This was I think my first reef shark or first shark in general I've ever seen. Pretty sure it's a reef shark. At first I was like kind of a little freaked out by him, but he was not interested. And at this point I'm like, come on, swim by me. And I thought he might there. Oh, and nope, now he's there, off he goes. It's hard to always tell what size stuff is underwater because it gets magnified, but I'd say it was about the length of me, so it was probably about 6 feet long or so. Yeah, I was just super focused on being as steady as I could on that one. I didn't want to mess it up. Yeah. I was just trying to get a shot of kind of the reef here. It's really interesting formation. Yeah, thousands and thousands of years of corals growing and leaving their skeleton behind, and then new ones growing on top and building out these really interesting rock formations. Yeah. There's some schoolmasters. This is cool. My GoPro didn't capture it super great, but this is a moray eel, and if you watch, those neon gobies are actually going to swim right into his mouth looking for parasites and stuff, and he's just going to relax and let it happen. It was one of the neatest things I've seen. I was really happy to be able to film it. It's a shame it didn't turn out exactly how I was hoping, but I'm glad I got it, so I have more than just my memories. Yeah, just the gobies just getting right in there. And then this big fish, I had trouble identifying it because I don't have good video of it, but he was a good sized fish. He's probably the length of my arm, and I think he's comparable to that eel. And then he just kind of swam in and just sat down on the rock, and everybody's cool. This is a big formation of a type of coral called, it's one of the star corals, and I'm not sure exactly what species it is, but they encrust, right? They encrust and form these huge colonies, and the colonies just take years and years to develop into that size. Yeah, and you can see more star coral growing on that boulder. And eventually the colony will die, and then a new colony eventually, hopefully, will grow over top of it and make the boulder that much bigger again. Those are juvenile phase stoplight parrotfish. When they become adults, they kind of turn into a sort of light green color. There's some. So that's shucks, I can't remember what those guys are called. That's a black margaret. That's right. A black margate, and then the black one, and then the yellow one's a schoolmaster. Green chroma swimming, or sorry, that's a brown chroma swimming right by in front. This is a sponge, this big brown thing. And then we swim around and we see a 4-eye butterfly. Yeah, these fish are pretty common in the Caribbean. They eat on the coral, picking away at the rock. That's some elkhorn coral, I believe. It's another stony coral, similar to elkhorn. Just a different species, but they're cousins. And that's a big school of, I think most of them are purple reef fish. Chromis scotti. I'm not sure exactly. This is me trying to be artistic. Here's a smooth trunk fish. I like these guys. They're pretty calm and peaceful. And you wouldn't think a fish like that would like survive, right? But yeah, there you see them all over the place, and they just swim along slowly, just doing their thing. Maybe they're poisonous. I don't know. I wonder if they're related to pufferfish somehow. I should look into this further. Probably should have looked into it before I filmed myself talking, but you live and you learn, right? Can't undo it now. It's too late. That shot, there's a lot of noise in the dark areas, and that's because of my GoPro settings. There's a barracuda just cruising along. And this rock, it used to be a big formation of star coral probably, but it died and now it's covered in octocorals and gorgonians. This gray fish is a Bermuda chub. Right, look at him, he just swam right up to me, didn't even mind. I just was like trying not to move too much. Stumbled upon barracuda in the under this ledge. Yeah, my GoPro in the dark, it doesn't do great. So after this, I saw kind of the noise. They call it noise. But anyways, you see that glittering in the dark. I went and bought myself a really good, kind of expensive dive light for my camera. So I'll turn it on in those ledge areas, and that should help a lot with getting the right colors out. Yeah, Christmas Tree Caves is just a really cool area to dive. There's these huge boulders, schools of fish everywhere, and it's just really fun, and definitely my favorite place to go in Key Largo so far. I've been to most. Here's a mustard hill coral, a small formation on this rock, and then there's these Christmas tree worms growing with it, and then the coral's going over the tube that the coral grows over the tube that the worm secretes as it grows and gets bigger. These are two sponges that were nice, interesting to look at. I'm not 100% sure what they are. Apparently sponges are really difficult to identify. You have to get them under a microscope and look at the cells. The shape of the sponge is dependent a lot on where it is located in the water, like for depth and currents and stuff like that. So here's a spiny lobster. These are really common in the Caribbean. You don't see a ton of these in Key Largo. Maybe people are eating them. I'm not sure. I don't know why. I've been to other places. I was diving in St. Vincent and we saw caves pretty deep and there'd be like 30 of these things piled into it. And when I was in Grenada, I was just kind of waiting around this old dock on this really quiet beach, and there would be like tons of these lobsters just under this pier thing. If you wanted to, you could probably just reach in and grab one and go eat it. Yeah, here's more of that star coral. Some good sized colonies. GoPro's not super great for getting details on small things up close, but it does capture far away stuff really good. Yeah, so these star coral colonies, they get huge. I think that's so there's different species and they kind of look similar, so I'm not able to identify it exactly, but yeah, anyways. Just you get these huge colonies of the stuff. I really like it. It's nice to look at. I believe those are blue chromis, those blue fish swimming in front. Another star coral formation. Yeah, some of them get huge. Queen angelfish. Two queen angelfish. Fun. Usually they're kind of hard to swim up to, and this one's like looking at me, not sure what to make of me, but then it decided, oh, I guess I'm okay to eat again. Now it's looking again, take another bite. Better check on me again. I assume it's eating. I don't know what else it would be doing. Maybe I need to do some research on their behavior. Really attractive looking fish. I'd say like the meaty part of his body would probably be like the size of probably like two of my hands, you know what I mean? Like if I had two hands, I think the fish would like cover both my hands if I was holding it. Oh, here's a parrotfish. Just looking for a meal in the sand. He's probably like maybe 2 feet, maybe 1.5 feet, between 1 foot and 2 feet long, I think. It's hard. It's always hard to tell with in the water, right? Because everything it looks bigger than it is. Yeah, school of fish, sergeant majors, and I think they are more of those purple reef fish, but I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, this guy's a sergeant major right out front with the bars. I actually had some sergeant majors in a tank when I was living in Grenada. I just caught some on the beach and kept them in a tank for a while. This tiny aquarium I got. Once they got a little too big, I turned them back into the ocean. And then that's a gray brown chromis, brown chromis. Always enjoy just swimming into the schools. You don't make too much noise. They'll usually just swim right up to your face mask and you can get a good look if you want. So they're swimming around in the water. There's probably like copepods or phytoplankton, something small, and they're eating that. Here's more mustard hill coral with more Christmas tree worms growing in amongst it. Yeah, ooh, a little blurry. The current on this was kind of tricky and it kept pulling me into it, and I was trying not to crash into it and touch a bunch of stuff, you know. Yeah, that's pretty neat though. Yeah, all this rock, it's old skeleton from coral from over thousands of years. And then eventually the coral dies and it leaves behind the skeleton, and hopefully eventually a new colony will grow and keep the rock growing. Hard to say what's going to happen with the future of these reefs though, with water temperatures increasing. And then when carbon dioxide dissolves into the water, it lowers the pH and makes it harder for them to basically affects the chemistry of them building their skeletons out. But for now we still have them, so we'll just enjoy it while we can. Yeah, so that's Christmas Tree Caves. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to address it.